the entertainer talking sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the news that came out of the Jaguars camp that one of the best pass rushers in the NFL and one of the best pass rushers on the free agency market, Yannick Ngakoue, will be franchise tagged. Now, to be honest, if you've been watching my channel or a lot of Giants fans' channels or the news, you should not be shocked by this at all. I think most of us expected Yannick Ngakoue to be franchise tagged by the Jaguars. That does not mean that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to keep him. As a matter of fact, I would be surprised if they do, and we'll get into some of the tweets and what Yannick Ngakoue had to say about being tagged by the Jacksonville Jaguars. All you got to do is go back and look at last year. Arguably, the three best pass rushers on the open market were all franchise tagged, and all three were traded. D Ford, Jadeveon Clowney, and Frank Clark. Now, they all got various price tags. Jadeveon Clowney only got a third-round pick because they waited till late in the process, and that actually worked out for the Seattle Seahawks because I don't think they're going to keep Clowney, but they only surrendered a third-round pick and two depth players, and now they'll be compensated a third-round pick for Jadeveon Clowney leaving, and they're probably going to be picking late in the third round anyway. So the Seattle Seahawks pretty much had offsetting draft picks and had an opportunity to add a player that could help their team win last year and had a very strong season. So in that specific instance, it really makes sense. Now, if you look at the other two cases, well, those two players are going to stay on long term, yes, but you could have tried to sign them in free agency, or, they would have held out, I suppose, on their franchise tag, but they give up a first-round pick in one instance, and I think a first and a second in the other, none of which make much sense to me. Now, the reason that he was tagged, well, they don't want to pay him, to be quite honest with you, and I can't really blame him. The market for the edge rusher is insane right now. Yannick Ngakoue is commanding $22 million, which a lot of people think is crazy. I think he's getting paid $19 million under the franchise tag, but it's only for 1 year. This guy's probably going to want $50 or $60 million guaranteed and a 5-year deal for $110 million. And it certainly is crazy, but that is the going rate. As I always say, the salary cap goes up every year. You look at Tank Lawrence last year. Cowboys signed him to, I think, $21 million a year. So Yannick Ngakoue, who's a fairly comparable player, who's very young and only getting better, at least some people may think that, is going to command right around the same salary. And he knows what he's worth if he hits the open market. And so do the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is why they tagged him. Now, what's the benefit to trading for him if the price is right? Well, you get a player that's slightly under market value. You're not making a long-term commitment. You then, in turn, could do the same thing that's being done this year. You could tag and trade him for a second time, or you could just let him go like the Seahawks are going to do with Jadeveon Clowney and get a comp pick for him. But the price has to be right. But let's jump into the tweet that came out today about Yannick Ngakoue. First, we'll start with Schefter's breaking down the news. He said the Jacksonville Jaguars will use their franchise tag on pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue per league sources. The tag will also allow them to trade him if that's what they decide or are forced to do. So there you have it. And then, by no surprise, Ngakoue came out with this tweet. The Jaguars are aware I no longer have interest in signing a long-term contract in Jacksonville. Duval, I love you and gave you guys everything I got. I'm thankful for the journey and look forward to continuing my career elsewhere. And this guy sent out a lot of cryptic tweets. That is not very cryptic. That is pretty direct. And like I said this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, this is exactly what's going to happen. He's going to be tagged. He's then going to be traded. The question is, who's willing to give the Jaguars what they're looking for? And they're going to be looking for a first-round pick. And I don't know if anybody's going to be willing to give it to him. We'll have to wait and see, being that you're only getting a 1-year commitment. And you're paying the guy $19 million. Not to mention, he's been a guy that shows he will force his way out of a situation if he is not happy. So that is something that a lot of teams will have to weigh. The Giants, of course, will never give up a first-round pick. They're picking 4th overall. I wouldn't do anything other than a 3rd, and even then I might not entertain it. To be honest with you, I don't want Yannick Ngakoue. I'd rather draft somebody in the draft. I know a lot of Giants fans will want him because he's talented. He's very good at getting after the quarterback, strip sacks, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, this guy's going to cost you $22 or $23 million a year for a guy that is a very good player, but he has never demonstrated that he's great. Does he have great potential? Absolutely. But I don't pay the top money in the league to guys who have potential that have not yet proven it yet. To get that kind of money, in my opinion, you got to be J.J. Watt in his prime. You got to be Aaron Donald. Ngakoue's nowhere near that. He's a guy who is a very, very good pass rusher. I frequently compare him to Osi Umenyiora. And I don't think he's worth what he's going to get paid. Unfortunately, that's the going rate for edge rushers in the NFL when they hit the open market because it's such an important position. You could argue it's the second most important position in the sport. And I think he will be traded. It's just a matter of who is willing to pony up the dough. Now, the Giants have said that they're looking for a Michael Strahan-like talent. Maybe they'll feel Ngakoue is that guy, but I doubt it. I don't think the Giants are going to be willing to part with many draft picks, and I think Jacksonville is going to be forced to trade him to the best suitor. I doubt that suitor will be the New York Giants. It'll probably be a team that was in a similar situation to the Seattle Seahawks last year when they traded for Jadeveon Clowney. A team that's maybe they feel like with a couple extra pieces they could compete for a Super Bowl. The Giants right now are not that team, and to be honest with you, it doesn't make sense. He will not be a Jacksonville Jaguar, though, next year, at least in my opinion. Otherwise, he'll just hold out, and it'll be a complete mess there. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe. Drop a comment. Maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.